Hey guys, this is Sophie, or Attack on Eyebrows from Tumblr, and I'm just going to be giving a brief tutorial on how to make GIFs, since it has been requested by a few people and I do have the time currently. Uh, Once again, it will just be a quick tutorial, sort of a bare bones tutorial for GIFs. I won't be going over the coloring section because it's really complicated to explain, I think, for someone who's new to GIFing. And also, I kind of am very attached to my own coloring, so I don't want to, expose my PSD or anything. So I'm really sorry about that. There's a possibility I might make a part 2 to this for coloring, though, but it won't be, exactly replicating the coloring that I do. It'll just be a brief guide on how to color with playing around with different layers, curves, exposure, and all the other elements of Photoshop. But okay, let's dive into this tutorial. What you need to make GIFs are basically two things. You need some software to record or extract frames from your video, and then you need Photoshop. So the software I like to use for extracting frames is KMPlayer. Now you can also use VLC Player, or you can use Photoshop's personal extraction thing. But that only works for MP4 videos, I believe. And if you don't have MP4 video, which is the majority of videos downloaded from online, you have to first convert it. So it's really just, very inconvenient. So I recommend using KMPlayer. It also gives very nice high quality extractions. So okay, this is KMPlayer. As you can see, it's free. It's easily downloadable. Just Google KMPlayer and go on their site and download it. Okay, so now I'm just going to pull my video into the video I want to GIF into KMPlayer. So I'm just going to choose the recent Doctor Who episode. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to press Ctrl G. You can see that it brings up the frame extraction window. Now this is what you want. This is basically the window that you need to enter your settings in for how you want to extract your frames and where you want to extract it to. So first I'm going to click on this little folder thing. Basically this will tell me where I want to extract my frames to, where I want to save these images to. Now I'm going to select the folder that I already made. Sorry, I'm so tired right now. Okay, so this is the folder, right? This is the folder I want to save my images to. And to show you, okay, here it is. I'm actually gonna delete this, so that'll be easier to see. Okay, so now that we have our folder, we're just going to look through the other settings. Now here you can see this format. There's different formats. I like choosing PNG slow, and I recommend you choose it too because it'll provide the highest quality screen caps, and that's definitely something you want, right? Higher quality. For method, I recommend, only video images. There's no reason to have subtitles since you can just add it in Photoshop if you want. For quality, always have this slider all the way to the right for the highest quality. And make sure you extract continuously so that you don't skip frames unless you want to skip frames. I don't know why. You probably shouldn't. Here's the frames to extract. Same thing. Make sure you extract every frame and not like every other frame or something. I mean, theoretically you can extract every other frame to cut down size, but I really don't recommend it. Here you can put the size of the images you want to extract. Make sure the size is always the same as your input video size. So my input video is 1280 by 720 and my extraction size is the same. Okay, now you can start extracting the video. What you want to do is just, go to any point of the video that you want to extract. Let's say it's, this point right here, right? Let's say I want to start GIFing this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on play. And then I'm going to click on start here. Once I click on play, it'll play the video, and once I click on start, it'll start extracting. But make sure you have to have the video playing before you click start. Okay, so click play, and now start. As you can
Are
see
you phoning
here,
your
it's
blackmail
starting
again?
to
Or are you
extract
sending a
the
distress
frames
signal?
of the video,
I'm
right?
really sending you a distress
So
signal.
anytime I
They
want to
kidnapped
stop,
husband
it'll
and they've
stop
stolen the
extracting.
location of every
So
Zygon
let's
on Earth.
say, you know, 85
Directive
frames.
of ceasefire's
Like
broken
that.
down.
Now click stopped. So stopped extracting. And now you can go to the folder that you extracted the images to, and now you see, oh look, my folder is full of all the images I just extracted. Simple, right? Now simply open up Photoshop, and you can now load these images into Photoshop quite simply. Yeah, it takes a while to load sometimes. Not too bad though. Okay, so to load these images, you want to go to File, Scripts, Load Multiple DICOM files. Okay? So click on that, and now I'll give you this window. So now go to the folder that you saved or extracted the frames into. Oops. Oh my god. So bad at this, sorry about that. Okay. So now click on OK, sorry. Now it'll start loading all those images in that folder into Photoshop. Now you can kind of see I have a timeline thing here, right? So if you open Photoshop, or if you've never made GIFs before, you might not see this window, but it's super easy to get it. Just go up here, go to Windows, and click on Timeline, or make sure this box is checked, and then this timeline window will just pop up down here. Okay, so now you can see all the all the images are loaded into Photoshop here, right? Now you want them to be loaded onto your timeline. So click on Create Animation here, and now you'll see one frame has shown up, right? We want all of these frames to show up. So go to the right part here, click on this little icon, and then click on Make Frames from Layers. What this does is it takes all the layers that you uploaded into Photoshop and makes them a separate frame. So now you can see this is basically a GIF, right? It's a really long one, but it is. It's a GIF. So now if you want to make, if you only want to GIF a certain area, since this is a large area, you can crop it. So go to your left and see this little rectangle thing, dotted line. Click on that, and you can basically select any area you want your GIF to be. So let's say I want it to be this area. Right, I'll select this, and now you can move this around if you want, and when you're ready, go to Image and Crop. It'll crop this area. And now you want to resize it, because rarely do we want the original size, right? Especially with Tumblr. So now you're going to go back to Image, and then click on Image Size. So let's say I'm going to make this 500 px width, right? So now you see it's resized, cropped, and everything, right? Now make sure you set your GIF here to forever instead of once, because by setting it to forever, once it reaches the end, it'll loop back to the beginning. So it makes sure that your GIF continues playing and doesn't just stop when it reaches the end. So basically you see we have 94 frames. Now obviously that's way too many frames to be an acceptable size for Tumblr. So what you want to do is you want to delete some frames, right? Let's say I only want 30 frames. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the 31st frame. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'll go all the way to the end. Click on that, and now you see it selects all these frames that I don't want. And I'm going to click this little trash can icon here, and it'll just delete all of these frames. Now we have the 30 frames that we want in the size that we want. We're ready to save it as a GIF. Now go to Files, Save. Make sure you click on Save for Web, right? Because if you do, it'll automatically save into a GIF format. You don't have to worry about switching formats or anything. So save for web. Okay, now it gives you a lot of different options here. Basically, you can play through these, but I recommend just, sticking with the default settings, unless you know what you're doing, right? I prefer to always have colors on 256 and dither at 100% just because it maintains the highest quality. But you can change it, the other to 99% if you want to if you have to make the file size smaller to fit the Tumblr limit, right? But here, yeah, you can see that everything's here. I can save if I want. Oh, but you see it's 2.6 megabytes, which is over the 2 megabytes Tumblr limit. So I guess cancel, and we'll go back and delete a few more frames to make that cut. You can also make your GIF smaller by cropping again and making it smaller so it'll take up less space, and be a smaller size so it can actually upload to Tumblr. You'll end up playing with this a lot and figuring out, the optimal size for a GIF, and sometimes certain GIFs, depending on the coloring, it might be a larger size or a smaller size. You'll figure all these nuances out yourself when you end up making them. But yeah, let's try saving it again. Oh my god, it's still too large. Okay then, I'll delete 5 more GIFs. It's only 20 frames, which is an awful amount. I suggest always having at least 25 frames for a GIF, but this is just to show you guys what it looks like, right? Okay, so it's under the 2 megabytes limit, so I can save it. Now save it whatever folder you like, and save it with whatever name you like. For example, phone. Okay. So now you just saved your first GIF, right? Go to the folder that you saved it in, and I'll show you what it looks like when you play it through. Super simple, right? Oh, I actually forgot to mention one little thing. You can actually change the amount of seconds that you want each of these frames to play. So on default it's set to 0 seconds. But typically I prefer 0.07 or 0.08 seconds per GIF. But this is up to you. You should always play around with it. Like if you have a little smaller amount of frames, the time delay should be longer so it doesn't go by too quickly. And if you have a large amount of frames, let's say, like 50 to 100 or something, the amount of seconds should always be smaller. Otherwise the GIF will take forever to play out. So since it's a small amount of frames, I'm just going to set it to 0.1 actually. So I'm going to save it again. Oops, I saved the wrong name, but doesn't matter. So this is the name I actually saved it as, the default name, but you'll see it's the same thing. Yeah, now you can see this is with the time delay that I set for 0.1 seconds, right? So, that's basically all that there is to it for making a basic GIF without any coloring. Obviously, there's so many things you can do that you should do with coloring. For all the things that you see here on adjustments, right? So, like brightness, levels, curves, vibrance, etc., etc. Selective coloring, all that good stuff. I'll try to maybe cover that in another tutorial, but this one, I didn't really want to go through it. It's too complicated, too long. But yeah, here's how to GIF. Simple tutorial. Thanks for watching.